foul call on Durant, who barks at him. Durant, they're both out. They've both been just thrown out.
We hate to say it, but the NBA is well known for having a sore loser or two. It's not always smiles and grace when an athlete loses. It's well documented that stars such as LeBron James are known to go into full-up baby mode and have tantrums on court. Sit back and relax, because today we're jumping into the top NBA stars who are sore losers. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. We all know that losing is hard. We're always told that it's the taking part that counts, which is true to a certain extent, but you might be surprised to find out that some of the biggest players in the sporting world are sore losers. None can top our first mention on today's list, LeBron James. This basketball legend is just 4 wins away from winning his 3rd NBA title. He's 35 years old and still at the top of his game, and if he's lucky, he's set to retire with the biggest leader score of all time. There's so much riding on the success of LeBron that it would be silly to assume that he doesn't feel the pressure. If he is to win his 4th title, that would put him within just 2 of Michael Jordan, who led the Chicago Bulls to 6 championships. It doesn't help the matter that LeBron is a 16-time NBA All-Star with 4 MVPs under his belt, while Jordan has accumulated 5. LeBron also has a reputation for being a whiner. He's been seen throwing hissy fits when things don't go his way, always being the first one to call out unfair rulings. It could be the little things like being called out for a foul or a game that he just happened to lose. Either way, it's enough to tip the edge for this complaining legend. The pinnacle of his embarrassment came when he found out that he finished 2nd in the MVP voting this year. When the results were announced, James said that he was pissed when asked about his reaction. MVP this year went to Bucks legend Giannis Antetokounmpo after playing an outstanding game that drove the Twitter sphere into meltdown. LeBron was clearly being selfish about his placement on the MVP list and simply referred to Antetokounmpo as winner whilst he complained. "It pissed me off. That's my true answer," James said of his reaction to the MVP voting. "It pissed me off because out of 101 votes, I got 16 first-place votes. That's what pissed me off more than anything. I'm not saying that the winner wasn't deserving of the MVP, but that pissed me off." Could LeBron James be the sorest loser of all in the NBA? We think so. 3 weeks after his MVP loss and after having already won his first 2 games without a hiccup, James walked off the court and headed to the locker room with 10 seconds still remaining in the game. How cocky is that? It looked as though he was disinterested in the game, and this was yet another classless move by the man who calls himself King James. A controversial point was made that James may not have been the most valuable player on his own team, with Anthony Davis performing considerably better throughout the season in several categories, including scoring average, rebounds, and shooting percentage. James actually went to a reporter and had this to say about the sore loser incident. "I finished second a lot in my career, either for a championship and now 4 times as MVP. I never came into this league to be MVP or to be a champion. I've always just wanted to get better and better every single day, and those things will take care of themselves. But some things are just out of my hands, and some things you can't control. But it pissed me off." We'll leave the rest up to you. Do you think that LeBron James is the sorest loser in the NBA? Let us know in the comment section below. Next on our list today is Kobe Bryant. He's one of the biggest sore losers in the NBA, and this is no embellishment. He holds 149 career technical fouls, finding himself topping the list every year since 2006. If that wasn't enough, he's had repeated clashes with Phil Jackson during his first year coaching the Lakers. He's also had some pretty high-profile feuds, perhaps most notably with Shaquille O'Neal and Lamar Odom. Lastly, Kobe Bryant was sadly voted 2nd biggest trash talker in the NBA by his peers. Over the last couple of years, it's fair to say that he's matured a little, but not enough to completely exonerate himself from his past bad behavior. Next up is Mare Stoudemire. This whiter is just 1 technical away from his 7th season in a row where he's played 3 or more games with double-digit technicals. Throughout Stoudemire's 9-year career, he has already amassed 101 technical fouls in only 637 career games. Much like Kobe Bryant, Stoudemire doesn't know when to shut his trap. Whilst Bryant's technicals have led to just 18 disqualifications, Stoudemire's big mouth has earned him a whopping 27 disqualifications. When he's not shouting at the referees, he's taunting his opponents and was also voted as the worst trash talker in the league a couple of years ago. We think that this player is only disrespectful when his lips are moving. He does have some fans though, who says he's not as everyone thinks, when he's off the court at least. Next up is Blake Griffin. Everyone seems to be complaining about this NBA star recently. Whilst Griffin has his moments, he often comes across as a good guy. The infuriating thing about Griffin isn't that he complains, nor is it because he flops. It's because he complains about not getting calls after sure he flops. He argues this point in a way that is downright unattractive, and besides arguing to get a call on a flop is insulting. It's not just disrespectful to his opponents, it's also disrespectful to officials watching on who have to deal with this baby behind the scenes. Griffin is at the top of the technical foul standings, already gaining 22 technicals in his brief NBA career. If that wasn't enough disrespect to you, he's often seen taunting his opponents in a downright humiliating way. Once Griffin's on a roll, there's no stopping him. Next up is Kendrick Perkins. This NBA sore loser is both a smart talker and a dirty player. Do you want a recent example of each? Well, that came in a game against the Miami Heat. After Perkins was attacked by Blake Griffin in one of the best dunks of the year, LeBron James took to Twitter to show his appreciation of Griffin's efforts. Perkins then came back and retaliated against James with some of the most disrespectful comments we've ever heard. You don't see Kobe tweeting, Perkins said, according to the report. You don't see Michael Jordan tweeting. If you're an elite player, plays like that don't excite you. At the end of the day, the guys who are playing for the right reasons, who are trying to win championships, are not worrying about one play. They also are not tweeting about themselves, talking about going down to number 2. I just feel James is always looking for attention, and he wants the world to like him. It seems as though Perkins can't help but to lash out at James because he was embarrassed on national television and undoubtedly got taunted himself with the media playing back the moment again and again. Next up is Rajon Rondo. This player is probably best defined by an incident that took place last year when the Celtics were up against the Heat. Rondo tried to interrupt Miami's team huddle. We don't think you could get much more disrespectful than that. Aside from being a pest, Rondo goes out of his way to upset players. When things get too hot, he's often seen hiding behind his bigger teammates. This type of bad behavior isn't a one-off, it's a big part of this basketball player's personality. The disrespect doesn't stop there. When the Celtics finally had enough of Rondo's bad behavior and decided to sell him, they opened up in a rare report to ESPN and claimed that the Celtics have decided to trade Rondo after his attitude and personality have become too burdensome for the organization. In conclusion, Rondo has a blatant and outright disrespect for the game, which started his career. It goes way beyond competitiveness and more into the problematic realm. That about sums up our video for today. We hope that you enjoyed our list of the NBA's biggest sore losers. Let us know in one comment section below if you agree with our choices or if we forgot to mention one of your favorite whiners. Do you agree that LeBron James is not only the biggest sore loser in the NBA, but in sports in general? Do you have a soft spot for Rondo or any of the other players and think that they should have entered lower on the list? Well, let us know and start a discussion. Before we go, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and if you really love us, smash that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of the latest videos that we post.